Hi guys, we have Mehar Sindhu Bhatia with us, who is a career coach with 8 plus years of experience across startups and large corporates. Her side hustle, MSB Vision, has crossed over 3 lakh followers both on Instagram and YouTube. She's an entrepreneur from London who mentors professionals and has mentored 5,000 plus students across 20 plus universities through workshops, university talks, interviews, and courses on topics related to career growth. I welcome you, Mehar, on Journey Teachers.
Thank you so much, Kriti, and thank you for having me.
It's my wonderful pleasure. So, we have the career coach herself who teaches people on interviews, and it's her interview now. So, I'm a tough interviewer. Let's see how you practice.
Oh, wow. I'm excited. Thank you, Kriti, putting me up to the challenge. I'm ready.
Okay, well done. So let's begin with the very first question. Before going into your expertise on career building, I would like to know, what does this success look like? How does it feel to receive the love of so many people you mentor?
Wow, what a nice question. I think, Kriti, it's like a very overwhelming feeling because when I started this, when I received just one message from one person, I was on cloud nine. So now it's like so many people and so many messages. So I feel grateful, and I feel like there's a responsibility on me that people are looking up to me to help them, guide them, mentor them in some way. So it feels good, but it also comes with a little bit of, okay, I need to get better with everything I share or every tip I talk about. I just have to keep, how they say, you have to be on this journey of growth and learning. So that's how I take it. I feel that I've achieved a good amount of success, but I still think that there's a long way to go. And I think that's how we should treat life as anyway, right? Like, we're on a journey. It's not really a destination. We have to keep going on it. So thank you for saying that I'm successful, but I feel like there's still miles to go before I sleep.
That is so right. There's a lot of responsibility which actually comes, and you consider yourself like, we should keep improving with the amount of love we are receiving every day.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So money automatically pours in when you have a good number of followers. To what extent does this line hold meaning?
Yes, I completely agree with that. I think it is 100% true. But also, Kriti, you have to remember that, when you start something like this, like as a side hustle, when you're doing something you're really passionate about, you shouldn't do this for the money. Like when I started it, it wasn't for the money. It wasn't that, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire creating these, career related tips. That was never the goal. The idea was that I'm going to just share out of my experiences, my successes, my failures. And because I was so passionate about it, I did it for, 2 years without any income, without anything coming, like flowing towards my bank account. There was nothing coming in. And it was just out of the passion. And I think a lot of people give up in that early years of as a content creator, as somebody who's, establishing themselves maybe as a freelancer or whatever. They expect immediate results. And it's not that easy. It's not that simple. A lot of people don't keep going and they give up and they stop. It's actually when you're so passionate about it that your followers, your community, your audience sees that and they stay loyal to you, and more people keep coming in. And that's when you reap the benefits of, your years of hard work and motivation and dedication and consistency. So I wouldn't say the money flows, yes, the day you start creating content. The money flows only after, you've established yourself in the market and you've built your expertise. And I think that's not to do with content creation. I think it's anything, any career you decide to choose, right? In the early years of your career, you will have to slog. You'll have to work those late hours, maybe, just create that impression on your boss. And then once, you've built your expertise, once you're a subject matter expert, you're a specialist in one or two things that you want to be known for, the good opportunities, the good collaborations, the good deals, the good promotions, the good opportunity, the good maybe entrepreneurial ideas will just come onto your lap. Right? But it's a journey, and it takes time. And I think that just keep learning and keep improving yourself, and you'll always find success.
Absolutely. Your why should be very strong and it should be considered on providing value rather than just thinking about money initially.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, what is your take on the career strategy one should follow? How should it go in the hierarchy of picking up some subjects, doing undergrad in that, specialization in masters, and so on?
Yeah. So I think this is a very important topic that we need to be talking about, Kriti, because most of us Indian students, we just stumble upon a career, right? Like it's either peer pressure, parental pressure, there's expectations, there's like a family dream. So we get very emotional when it comes to career decisions, and all of these different factors and influences in our lives, they make us some way mold our career decisions. And then what happens is that we are 19 one day or 20 one day, and we're like, oh shit, what am I doing with my life? Like, why did I get into this? And that's when most of my students, I think they start following me, is when they realize, okay, I have this degree and I'm not sure what to do with it, or I did this and now I don't really want to do it further. What are the options for me? I have a passion in something else. Can I do it? Will I be able to do it? Should I do it? All this imposter syndrome and this full of self-doubt and anxiety. That's where we realize, okay, no, we need to plan our careers. It's important to plan, because if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have an end, the something you're working towards, you'll just keep dittering, you'll just keep going here and there. And that's why it's important to have a career strategy. But having said that, I'm not saying that you should have a plan and that just expect to stick to it. Like if you're, let's say, studying medicine, and after 3 years and you're like, maybe I don't want to be a doctor, and that's okay. Like it's okay to pivot your path. And then it's about reiterating and redoing, revising your career strategy. So I think when it comes to the hierarchy of things, of how you should list down, is firstly have like a mental vision of what you want your life to look like, right? It's not just about your career, but it's all aspects of your life. And I keep saying this, we just put a lot of emphasis, okay, this is the job I want, and then my life will be set. But that's not your whole life. That's just a segment, a part, an aspect of your full life, right? So think about, okay, yeah, I want to do my own thing, or I want to help people, or I want to, climate change is a topic that I'm interested in, and I want to do something in that field. That's how you should start thinking about, okay, my interests, my passions, what the world needs, and then making a plan backwards. And that could mean you may want to do a master's, you may not want to do a master's, you may want to, start a side hustle, you may want to volunteer at an NGO on weekends, whatever that is. It's different for different people. Figure that out and then make a plan and make a strategy. And that's where I come in and help my students.
Definitely, a plan is like really important for a planned career shoot for you to have. And once your vision is set, once your goal is set that you have to achieve this, you can keep on, targeting that and continue to work upon that shoot.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And it's also about trying different things, like you are, right, Kriti? You're doing so many things at the same time. Until and unless you try, you won't know whether it's for you, right? You're almost reaching 50 videos now. And that shows that you have an interest in this. So maybe your degree is something else, but you have an interest in this. So after graduation, you can be like, no, listen, I've done 100 videos now. I want to do something in this field. So only when we try different things will we be able to realize that whether it's for us or not. So it's about trying different things, especially when you're young, so that by the time you're in your late 20s or early 30s, you can be like, okay, this is my expertise now, this is my field.
Yeah, experimenting as much as you can will always lead to, defined choices. Okay.
Exactly.
So, following that question, is it true that after studying a particular subject in undergrad, one's master's has to be in the similar field? What if one chooses a broad liberal education domain, or does it
Hmm.
hold true in any of these steps of completing one's studies?
um I think that your master's can be anything you want to do your master's in, right? Like all of us Indian students think that, okay, no, I just need to do an MBA and then my life is set. But that is why I keep telling my students, I keep telling my community that please don't be in a rush to do a master's, because once you do a master's, then you have narrowed down your career choices, because you can't do another master's and then another master's again and again. You may be able to do a double master's later, but still, you're narrowing down very soon, very early. So after undergrad, I always say, please work for a year or two minimum. and then figure out, okay, whether an MBA is for me, or whether I want to do masters in journalism, masters in geography, masters in, something very, very niche that may not, an MBA will be, maybe an MBA will not be enough for me to be a specialist in that one field, right? So it's important to get some kind of exposure, some kind of work exposure, and then decide what type of masters you want to do. That could be in the field that you're in, that could be in a completely different field that you're interested in. It could be something that you've been reading about, and then you tried it out a little bit, and then you're like, okay, no, I want to develop some expertise in this now. So whatever it is, I think just open up your mind. Don't be reliant on your bachelor's degree. I did accounting, and my career has nothing to do with accounting anymore, because I did a pivot in my master's during my master's degree. So if you're using your master's degree to pivot, that's another way of thinking about your career choices.
Absolutely. The world has so much flexibility, and you are free to choose whatever you want to do, maybe rather completely different option in your master's.
Exactly.
Okay. So, how much do interest and natural aptitude affect one's career choices?
Okay, so the innate things you are born with. I think, of course, it does impact in some way or the other how naturally, gifted you are. That's something that's out of our controls. But having said that, not just things that we like, our aptitude, or a zone of genius, or like some kind of IQ that we are born with, may not be in our control. And also, like, the privileges that we are born with, right, like, are also not in our control. Like, you and I are probably from decent families, we are speaking good English, we have internet, we have a laptop, we have all these opportunities that so many people don't really get. Right, so it's not about what you're born with, it's about how you put them to use, how you use those opportunities, how you use those privileges or skills or aptitude, as you're saying, that you have, and put them to use in such a way for the betterment of your life and the ones around you. Don't think of it, okay, I'm born genius, or I'm born stupid, nothing can change for me. Of course it can. You can use a lot of hard work to train yourself to become naturally good at something. So for example, I wasn't a good public speaker in my teenage years. I was very shy, I was very introvert, I never opened my mouth in class, and it's taken me time to get to this stage where I'm comfortable speaking to strangers, or I'm comfortable speaking to a camera, I'm comfortable giving a talk in front of people. So I feel that it's also something you're naturally good at, but it's also how much effort and practice you put into it to making it even better, and showcasing that to the world.
Of course, natural aptitude can always add up to the skills, and combining that with hard work can yield the desired results.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the extra elements one should add for the CV or one's application to a particular university to actually stand out from others?
Okay, that's a very good question. And in fact, Kriti, I just went and met the admissions committee at a university in the UK, and they were telling me that most students don't even read and do research about the university. So it's important to look at the university's website, do proper research, read blogs, look at the alumni, look at LinkedIn profiles of people, and really seeing, okay, this is the university, this is the USP, this is why I want to study here. I think it's about doing a lot of research on where you want to go, whether it's a job, researching about the company, whether it's a business school, whether it's a master's university, wherever you're planning to go, whatever you're planning to do, you need to be aware about what exactly is this institution, right? That's very, very important. And then going back on your CV or your resume or your essays and seeing, okay, these are the things they're looking for, and this is the thing that I have, and maybe there's a gap on my CV, maybe there's something that I haven't done that they need in their student or in their employee. And that's when you have to see, okay, I have this gap and I need to take steps to fill it. So let's say, for example, let's say we have this very, very big university that only hires it's not hire, sorry, they only get students who are very like all-rounders, for example. And if I see I've only done a theoretical degree and I haven't been an all-rounder, that's where I have to start sprucing and paying attention to improve myself, right? So I have to look at ways in which I can become an all-rounder, maybe starting my own thing, maybe volunteering, maybe doing some kind of passion project on the weekends, whatever it is that you have to think, okay, this is what they are looking for and this is what I don't have, and that's the steps that you need to take. I don't think there's a generic answer for that. It depends on where you're applying, depends on what kind of study field you want to go into, depends on what job you're applying for, and then looking at your personal CV and seeing the gaps, and then making a choice that I'm going to take steps to improve it.
Definitely, what the university actually is looking for in a student's profile, if you have that traits and the keywords related to that, the application can always stand out and be selected. So you have
Exactly.
to do your research accordingly.
You
That
have to do your homework. Yes.
right. Okay, so let's talk about the tips to handle before interview anxiety, and then subsequently how to be interview confident. Some hacks to rock it.
Okay, great. So firstly, I'll say that every interview gets easier with practice, right? The first interview you ever give in your life is probably going to suck. It's not going to be your best shot. But with practice, with preparation, you'll be able to improve yourself. And I will say one thing, Kriti, that it all comes down to how prepared you feel for anything in your life, right? If you are giving a presentation in college, if you are maybe presenting an idea to your friends also, right? If you've come prepared for that talk, if you've come prepared for that interview, you will feel less nervous. You will feel less unsure of what exactly to say. So it's about preparing well. And they say lack of preparation can always lead to something that you don't want the outcome of it to be. So it's always important to prepare well, and just do your homework in such a way that, okay, on the day of the interview, you know about what the company is all about, you know their products, you know their services, you know their competitors, you know what's on your CV, you know how you can help them. If you are already prepared, if you've done those practice mock questions, the sample questions, the commonly asked interview questions, if you've prepared well in advance, you will feel more confident on the interview day. And still, if you feel nervous, there's always tricks on how you can actually trick your brain to feel more confident, which is just imagining yourself successful. Instead of saying things like, oh, this interview is going to go rubbishly, say it's going to go well. Say that I am going to succeed. It's about confidence affirmation. It's about what you say to yourself right before you walk in the door and give that interview. You have to imagine yourself successful. You have to imagine yourself nailing that interview, and you will realize that when you do say that, when you do say positive things to yourself, when you pump yourself up, when you do those power poses, and you imagine yourself successful, the interview will go successful.
That is absolutely correct. Preparation can actually help you a lot. But what about if one circumstance comes suddenly on the day of the interview, that the interviewer has asked some technical question, or maybe your network is bad, or some or the other thing is happening which eventually declines your confidence? What has to be done in that particular case?
See, that's human tendency, right? Like when we are experiencing something, we'll always remember the negatives more than the positives. That's how our brain is wired, unfortunately. So I would say that if there's a technical question you don't know the answer to, it's okay. It's okay. Like you're not supposed to be a 10 on 10. Nobody is a 10 on 10. You can just say that I'm really sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. I will get back to you after the interview. Or you can say, I'm really sorry, I can't recall. Or you can say that, I don't really have an opinion on this. I'll need to do some reading up and get back to you on this. And that's fine. Like, you're human, you're not a machine. They understand. When I'm interviewing for people to join my organization, I'm not expecting them to be having all this theoretical knowledge. I'm expecting them to show up with confidence. That's one. And I'm expecting them to be people who will be motivated, energetic, enthusiastic to join my team. And that's what they're looking for more than anything else, right? So I have myself cleared interviews where I did not know some of the technical answers, and so has my husband. So I'm telling you from experience that this is not something that you need to feel ashamed of. So in that moment, if you are thinking, oh my god, shit, I didn't know this, I didn't do well, just forget about it. Focus on what's coming next. Just let go in that moment. And there's a network glitch, all of these things. If it's a virtual interview, you need to prepare well in advance. We were conducting interviews very recently, and somebody came to the interview very unprepared in their setup. Like today, I also wasn't really prepared for our setup. These are the things how the interviewer is going to judge you on. So check your network, check your sound, check your background. All these things you should do well in advance before the interview, so that you leave a lasting impression on the interviewer.
Right, absolutely. You have to have that confidence that whatever things do not go according to you, you can handle at the particular moment. Be present in that particular moment and be confident, be prepared. You can ace it well. So the next question is, as your interests include writing and traveling, how do you think these career options can be interlinked together?
Writing and traveling. I think any career interests, skills can all be merged into creating something very unique for yourself. If you like writing and traveling, you can become a travel blogger. You can just create a post on Instagram with all the things that you did in that day, maybe a quote that you came up with, well, beautiful scenery. So I think anything that you like for example, Kriti, maybe for you it's that you like in meeting people, maybe you like speaking, maybe you like social media. So you have also merged your interests together, right? So that's how our careers in the future are anyway going to be. We're going to have these portfolio careers where we are multifaceted and have all these skills, and we're going to merge it and mix it up together and create something of our own.
And these unconventional career options are so interesting as well, and they open up so much new opportunities for everybody to look at.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so how do you think one can track some reputed speaker stages, deliver a speech confidently, and leave an everlasting impression?
I think I am still also learning to become a better speaker, because I feel like there's always going to be lots you can do to improve. So I feel like just connect with the audience, prepare well, do your research on the topic that you're going to speak about, pay attention to your body language, how you're showing up, how you're looking straight into their eyes, maybe look at everybody in the audience, not just one person. It's important to move your eye contact, use your hands a little bit, not over, but a little bit to assert your point. And then also like show up well. Body language is all about how you dress up and how you show up. So it's important, if you want to feel more confident, wear an outfit that you feel confident in. So yeah, these little things, hand movement, eye contact, speaking slowly, taking enough pauses, breathing properly, all these things will help you give a better talk.
So Mehar is all like that I'm going to improve and I'm going to deliver the best I can.
I hope so. Yes.
Okay. So what do you think about startup industry in itself, both in India and abroad, going to bloom in the future? Any thoughts on the same?
I think it's already blooming in many ways. There are so many amazing companies that have been set up in the last few years, especially in the pandemic. We saw people push into the unknown and launch things that we hadn't even thought of, and they have become like these big unicorn companies now. So I think there is a lot of scope for anyone with a big idea to start something of their own and do something extraordinary, as I was saying in my stories on my Instagram page today. So I feel that there is huge opportunity for people to find jobs, not only in the big MNCs, but also in these niche startups that have come up now, not just around the world, but in India in particular. We have a huge market that is wanting to grab your products, your service at a reasonable price. Of course, that always comes with India. They don't like very premiumly priced products, but it's a huge market to tap into. And I think, yeah, I'm happy and I'm grateful that my tiny little startup is also a part of the startup industry now, and hopefully it will be something bigger in the next few years.
Definitely wish you the very best for that. So,
Thank you.
any last remarks on improving on anything you want to say?
I think that I would just say to anybody watching this is just keep an eye on what exactly you want in your life, in your career. Have that vision and break it up into smaller pieces, and then create a strategy and a plan. As Kriti asked a very nice question, and figure out along the way. You don't have to have all the answers on day one, but you'll have a better, clearer picture on day 10, and an even clearer picture on day 100. So, it's about a journey, and just keep going. Don't give up when you're on something. Keep going, keep doing it. Like Kriti, it's your 50th interview very soon. I hope you reach 500 one day. But it's about staying consistent, right? If you consistently, dedicatedly, in a disciplined manner, give it your all, whatever you set your goal, your intention at, whatever you set as your goal will always become a reality. So just keep hustling, keep going. And yeah, important to take breaks as well. So please don't burn out.
A wonderful end to an insightful interview. So, would you want to talk about any of your upcoming workshops or sessions, if any?
Yeah, so we have lots of courses, workshops, ebooks that we are working on. Hopefully everybody will have access to them soon. But please, if you want to hear from me on a regular basis, you can always sign up for my newsletter. And I send out a weekly newsletter with career tips and resources, and hopefully you'll find that interesting.
That would be really beneficial, and you can find the links to that in the description below. So, thank you so much, Mehar, for joining in. It was really wonderful talking to you.
Not at all, Kriti. Thank you for having me, and I wish you all the very best. Keep smiling, keep working hard, and you are doing great, and you will do even better.
How did you find this interview? How did you find me as a host? You were able to deliver value and you were able to crack this interview. You were
So sweet. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you, Kriti. You were wonderful. You're a great host. I think what you're doing is fantastic, and I wish you all the success. It's fantastic what you're doing.
Thank you. Means a lot.
Not at all. And I'm always here if you need any help or support.